All right, so welcome to AI Daily Deep Dive, and today's Saturday, March 29th, 2025,
Mm-hmm.
and we are going to be deep diving into all the most significant AI news
Mm-hmm.
from today.
Sounds good.
And just to let everyone know, up front and center, this entire deep dive, the research, the insight, everything you're about to hear was researched and generated entirely by AI.
Yeah, it really gives you a sense of where things are at, how much AI can actually do these days.
Absolutely. It's pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
So why don't we jump right in? There's a lot to cover. And one of the things that's really been catching my eye, just kind of browsing around online, is this whole trend of AI-generated movie trailers, like fake movie trailers on YouTube.
Yeah.
And, it seems like a lot of people are watching them, and some people are even being fooled into thinking they're real.
Oh, absolutely. And it's fascinating, right? You've got these fans, they're using AI tools to imagine, what if this happened, or what if there was a sequel to this? It's like a whole new level of fan fiction, but it's visual now.
Yeah. Like they're using things like Midjourney to create the images, and then 11 Labs for the voices, the voiceovers. It's crazy how realistic it can be.
It is. And, I was reading about this creator, David Corenswet.
Oh, yeah.
He's really good at this, like blending real footage with AI-generated stuff, and you can't even tell the difference.
He's got a real knack for it.
Yeah.
And it's not just, individual creators dabbling in this anymore. You've got whole channels dedicated to it, like Screen Culture, run by Nikhil P. Choudhary.
Right, I saw that.
They're pumping out like 12 of these trailers a week.
12 a week.
It's crazy.
It's a lot.
And they're good. Like really good. Their trailer for Fantastic Four: First Steps, that actually did better in search results than Marvel's own stuff.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
It really speaks to the power of, fan engagement, doesn't it? Like there's this hunger for new stories, new takes on existing franchises.
Absolutely.
And what started as, just a hobby for some people has become a serious business. Yeah, Screen Culture has something like 1.4 billion views.
Billion? That's got to be generating some serious ad revenue.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's a whole new revenue stream, really.
It is. And, it's interesting because some of the big studios are starting to pay attention. And they're not necessarily shutting these fake trailers down.
Right.
But they're trying to claim the ad revenue from them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like Warner Bros., Discovery, Sony, Paramount. They've been doing this with trailers for Superman, House of the Dragon, even Spider-Man.
Huh. So they're basically saying, hey, we own the rights, so we get a cut.
Exactly.
That's a really interesting approach.
It is, and, it's sparking some controversy.
I bet.
SAG-AFTRA, the actors union, they're not happy about it at all.
Yeah, I can see why they're probably thinking, hey, wait a minute, these are our likenesses being used, our work is being used to generate this content, and we're not seeing a dime.
Exactly. They're calling it a race to the bottom, saying
Yeah.
it exploits actors and their intellectual property.
It's tricky, though, isn't it? Because on the one hand, you've got the studios. They own the rights. They're the ones investing in these franchises.
Right.
But on the other hand, you have these creators who are putting in the time, the effort, using these AI tools to create something new, something that people clearly want to see.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And there doesn't seem to be any consistency in how it's being handled.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sometimes the studios claim the ad revenue. Sometimes they just take the trailers down.
No clear policy then.
Not really. And, beyond the whole intellectual property issue, there's also the question of the content itself, like what kind of stuff is being generated.
Right.
There have been cases of AI-generated content that's, well, inappropriate, even misogynistic.
Oh, yeah, I remember that Inside Out 3 thumbnail controversy.
Exactly. So it's not all fun and games. There are some serious ethical considerations here.
No, for sure. It's like with any powerful tool, it can be used for good or bad. And with AI, we're still figuring out the boundaries.
Absolutely. And, what's interesting to me is that the studios are trying to profit from these fan-made trailers rather than just shutting them down completely.
It's almost like they're acknowledging the power of this kind of content.
Yeah. And maybe even the power of the fans themselves.
Right. Like, hey, they're creating something that's generating buzz. Maybe we can tap into that.
Exactly. But it also kind of makes you wonder, what does it mean for the future of, like, official content?
Yeah, that's a good question. Are we headed towards a world where the lines between fan-made and official are completely blurred?
Right. And what does that mean for the value of original work, the work of actual human artists?
It's a whole new landscape, that's for sure.
It is. All right. Well, let's shift gears a bit and talk about something a little more concrete.
Okay.
Boston Dynamics, they've got this famous humanoid robot Atlas.
Oh, yeah. I've seen videos of that thing. It's pretty incredible.
It is, and they just used it as a camera operator in a virtual production trial with WPP.
Wow, a robot camera operator? That's wild.
Yeah, and apparently it's the first time anyone's ever done that with Atlas.
Huh. So they're really pushing the boundaries of what this robot can do.
Yeah, and, it makes sense in a way. Atlas is known for being super agile, so why not use it for something like filmmaking?
Right, it's got the dexterity, the range of motion. It could probably pull off some pretty cool camera moves.
Exactly, and they were using it with these high-end Canon cinema cameras.
Mhm.
And the movements were all guided by AI models trained by NVIDIA.
NVIDIA, they're everywhere these days.
They are.
So what were they filming with this robot camera operator?
They were doing some test commercials for car companies and food and drink brands.
Okay. And what was the advantage of using Atlas over, a regular camera setup?
One of the things they talked about was efficiency, like how quickly Atlas can adapt to different shots.
Oh, I see. So instead of having to move all this heavy equipment around, reposition everything,
Right.
you just tell the robot what to do.
Exactly. And apparently you can do things that a human camera operator just couldn't, like walking sideways while filming.
Wow. So it's not just replicating human movement, it's actually adding new possibilities.
Exactly. And the director who worked with Atlas, Brett Danton, he said it felt very similar to working with a human camera operator.
Really?
Yeah, but with these added capabilities.
That's fascinating. It's like it's not replacing the human element,
Right.
but it's expanding what's possible.
Exactly. And, beyond just the coolness factor,
Mm-hmm.
there's some practical benefits too. Like, think about those really difficult high-angle shots or filming in dangerous locations.
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. Stuff that would be really risky or physically demanding for a human.
Right. Atlas could handle that no problem.
Makes sense. So it's about safety, efficiency, and creativity all in one.
Exactly. And it's all powered by these advanced AI models like NVIDIA's Cosmos.
Cosmos, that's their foundation model, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy how AI is enabling all this.
It is. And, the interesting thing is, the people at Boston Dynamics, they don't see Atlas as replacing human camera operators.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they see it more as a tool, like an extension of human creativity.
Like how drones changed aerial cinematography.
Exactly. It's giving filmmakers new ways to tell stories.
That's a really cool way to look at it. It's not about replacing humans, it's about augmenting them.
Exactly.
Working together to create something even better.
Exactly. All right. So moving on, we've got another interesting experiment to talk about. This one's in the world of writing.
Okay.
So this guy, Robert Anderson, he's a screenwriter, and he wanted to see if AI could actually write a full-length screenplay.
Oh, wow. Like from start to finish.
Yeah, he used a few different tools, ChatGPT, Nolan, and Plotdot.
Okay, so a real test of AI's creative capabilities.
Exactly, and he went about it very systematically, like you would with a traditional screenplay, starting with a one-sentence pitch, then developing the three-act structure, and then actually writing the script.
Sounds thorough.
So the first step was coming up with the log line, that one sentence that sums up the whole story.
Right.
And he used ChatGPT for this.
Makes sense.
The story was about a robot who wants to be a screenwriter.
Interesting.
Yeah, but apparently the first few log lines that ChatGPT came up with were kind of flat.
I see, not quite capturing the essence of the story.
Right, they were lacking a bit of irony and clarity, but after some back and forth, Anderson working with the AI, they came up with a pretty good log line.
Let's hear it.
Okay, it was, in a futuristic world where creativity is the ultimate currency, a determined robot defies its programming to pursue its dream of becoming a screenwriter, challenging societal norms and bridging the divide between art and technology.
Huh. That's actually pretty good. Sets the scene, establishes the conflict, hints at the themes.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
It is. So ChatGPT can come up with a decent logline with a little human guidance.
Exactly. So then they moved on to the three-act structure.
Yeah.
And again, they used ChatGPT for this. The AI came up with some interesting ideas. Like the robot finds this old screenplay, and there's a retired human screenwriter who mentors the robot.
Okay. Sounds like a classic mentorship story.
Yeah. But Anderson said that while ChatGPT understood the basic principles of the three-act structure, the ideas themselves were a bit shallow.
I see, like it could follow the formula,
Right.
but not really add that depth, that nuance that makes a story truly compelling.
Exactly. So then it was time to actually write the script. And for this, Anderson used two different AI tools, Nolan and Plotdot.
Okay, two different approaches.
Yeah, so Nolan was really good at formatting the script, like according to industry standards.
Okay, so it got the technical stuff right.
Yeah, but the character development was pretty weak. Like the robot, the main character, was described as having a subtle hint of longing.
Subtle hint of longing.
Yeah, not exactly deep.
Not very evocative.
No. And the pacing was rushed, the settings were generic, so Anderson had to do a lot of rewriting to make it work.
So Nolan's more of a tool for the mechanics of writing, not so much the creative heavy lifting.
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
Okay, what about Plot Dot?
Plot Dot took a different approach. It was more about generating detailed outlines for each scene.
Okay, so more structured.
Yeah. But it had trouble sticking to the storyline. There were inconsistencies, even some formatting errors.
So not as good with the overall narrative coherence.
Right, but Anderson did say there was one scene where the robot is daydreaming
Oh, interesting.
that he thought was surprisingly relatable.
Okay, so there were glimpses of something good.
Yeah, but overall, the script lacked conflict. The challenges the robot faced were resolved too easily.
So again, the AI struggled with creating that dramatic tension, that sense of stakes that keeps you invested in a story.
Exactly. And Anderson's overall conclusion was that while AI can understand and apply the basic rules of screenwriting, it's not very original or creative.
Yeah, it's like it can follow the recipe,
Right.
but it can't come up with its own
Exactly. It relies on cliches, and sometimes it even makes what he called hallucinations.
hallucinations.
Yeah, like it'll repeat scenes or the character names will be inconsistent.
Oh, wow. So it's still got some kinks to work out.
Definitely. And Anderson also raised some ethical concerns, like he's worried that AI could devalue the creative process itself.
I see. Like if it becomes all about efficiency and output and not about the craft, the artistry,
Exactly.
then that's a valid concern.
So in the end, he concluded that AI can be a tool for writers, but it's not a replacement for human creativity.
It's like a collaborator, but not the author.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to our next story. This one's about Elon Musk.
Oh, boy. What's he up to now?
Well, he's merging his social media platform, X, with his AI company, XAI.
Wow. A real power move.
Yeah, he wants to create this unified AI powerhouse.
I mean, it makes sense, right? He's got the social media platform with all the data.
Right.
And then he's got the AI company with the technology, the expertise.
Exactly. And this merger formalizes a collaboration they already had going on.
Oh, so they were already working together.
Yeah, and it's all stock transaction. X is valued at about $45 billion.
Billion? That's a lot.
Yeah, and XAI is valued at $80 billion.
80 billion? That's huge.
It is. And, the idea seems to be to combine the massive data from X with the advanced AI capabilities of XAI.
Especially their chatbot, Grok, right?
Exactly. They want to create synergy in terms of data, computational power, distribution.
It's like creating this self-contained AI ecosystem.
Yeah, and they've got this massive user base on X, so they can use that data to train their AI models, and then they can use X to distribute their AI products directly to consumers.
It's a pretty smart move, honestly. Not a lot of companies have that kind of reach.
No, they don't, and it doesn't stop there.
Oh,
We're talking about potentially incorporating Tesla into this whole thing down the line.
Tesla, the car company.
Yeah, think about all the data Tesla's cars are collecting. Visual data, sensory data, even behavioral data.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a goldmine of information.
It is. And they could use that to improve Tesla's self-driving capabilities, which already use AI, and also for their humanoid robot project.
So Musk is really trying to tie all his ventures together under this AI umbrella?
It seems that way, but, it's not going to be easy.
What do you mean?
Well, they're going up against some serious competition in the AI world. OpenAI, Anthropic, Google.
Yeah, those are the big players.
They are, and especially Google. With all their data and resources, they're ahead of the game when it comes to multimodal AI systems, the kind that can process all different types of data.
So XAI has its work cut out for it.
Yeah, Musk's going to have to figure out how to really leverage all that data from Tesla and expand X's capabilities for gathering video data.
Right, because video is becoming more and more important for AI training.
Exactly. And of course, this whole merger has attracted a lot of attention. Some people are skeptical.
Oh, I bet.
They think maybe he's just trying to inflate the value of his companies by jumping on the AI bandwagon.
It's a hot market right now.
It is, but Musk also has a lot of loyal supporters who believe in his vision.
Yeah, he's definitely a polarizing figure.
He is, and, there's even talk about potentially merging XAI with Tesla eventually.
Wow, that would be a massive undertaking.
It would. There would be a lot of regulatory and financial hurdles to overcome.
But it would fit with Musk's style, thinking big, pushing boundaries.
Exactly. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
For sure, this whole XAI, X-Tesla thing could be a game changer.
It could. All right, let's move on to our final story for today. And this one's a bit more concerning.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It's about hackers using AI to attack other AI systems.
Oh, wow. So AI is becoming both a weapon and a target.
Exactly. It's like cybersecurity is entering a whole new era.
Yeah, it's not just about protecting your data from human hackers anymore.
Right. Now you have to worry about AI hackers too.
So how are they doing this?
Well, one way is through something called prompt injection attacks.
Prompt injection, I've heard of that, but I don't really understand how it works.
Okay, so basically, you hide malicious instructions within text that's going to be processed by an AI.
Okay.
And the goal is to trick the AI into doing something it's not supposed to do, like revealing sensitive data or executing harmful actions.
So you're kind of hijacking the AI.
Exactly. And this isn't a new concept, but it's been hard to do effectively against the more advanced AI models, like GPT-4 and Gemini.
I see, because those models are more complex, their inner workings are more opaque.
Right, but now researchers have developed a new technique called fun tuning.
Fun tuning, that sounds almost playful.
Yeah, but it's not a game. This technique uses Google's own fine-tuning API for Gemini to automate the creation of these prompt injections.
Oh, wow. So they're using Google's own tools against them.
In a way, yeah, and it works by analyzing how the model reacts to training errors and then using that information to figure out the best prefixes and suffixes to add to prompts to make them bypass the SASE protocols.
So they're basically figuring out how to exploit the model's weaknesses.
Exactly, and it's scarily effective. They've had success rates of up to 82% on some Gemini models.
82%, that's really high.
It is, and what's worse, once they find a prompt that works, they can often use it on multiple versions of Gemini.
So it's not just a one-off exploit, it has broader implications.
Exactly, and the really scary part is that it's not that hard to do this. Google's fine-tuning API is free, and the computing power you need to run these attacks is pretty cheap.
So it's not just nation-states or sophisticated hacking groups that could do this.
Right, any motivated individual with some technical skills could potentially launch these attacks.
That's a sobering thought.
It is, and Google's aware of the threat, but they haven't said exactly how they're going to fix it.
I imagine it's a tough problem. If they tried to remove the data that allows for these attacks, it could also make the fine-tuning process less effective for legitimate users.
Right, it's a delicate balance.
It is. And, you know, this whole thing really highlights how the cybersecurity landscape is changing. It's not just about human versus human anymore.
Right, it's AI versus AI.
And that's a whole different ballgame.
It is. The speed and adaptability of AI, it could make it very difficult to defend against these attacks.
Absolutely. And the potential damage is huge. Imagine if AI systems in healthcare, finance, government were compromised.
That's a scary thought.
It is. We're talking about people's privacy, financial stability, national security.
So what could be done about it?
Well, for one, we need more research and development in cybersecurity, specifically focused on AI.
Right, we need to understand these threats better so we can defend against them.
Exactly. And it's not just up to individual companies or researchers. This is something that needs collaboration between academia, industry, and government.
It's a global issue.
It is. We need to work together to create a more secure AI ecosystem.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of today's AI Daily Deep Dive. We covered a lot of ground today, from fake movie trailers to robot camera operators to AI screenwriters and Elon Musk's AI ambitions, and finally, the threat of AI being used to hack other AI systems.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind tour of the AI landscape.
It has, and it's clear that AI is evolving at an incredible pace, and it's touching every aspect of our lives.
Absolutely. And it's only going to become more pervasive, more integrated into our world.
So it really makes you think, given everything we've discussed today, how is our understanding of trust and authenticity going to evolve in this new AI-driven world?
That's a great question to ponder. It's something we all need to be thinking about as we move forward.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us for this AI Daily Deep Dive. We'll be back soon with more insights into the ever-evolving world of artificial intelligence.